Hey there, welcome to this episode. And as you can see, we're talking about bringing a pattern into our DJ mode because we can do that. Now, normally I would have all like my records here, and I do. I still have the first three kind of records we were playing around with in the previous episodes. But what I've done is I've brought in some samples here because obviously I needed to make a pattern that I could kind of test this theory with. So we've got a couple of samples, and then just to keep it out the way, on Bank E here is where I created my pattern. So if I go into pattern select, you'll see that I've created a pattern on E1. So I'll play you a bit of the pattern. It's 120 BPM, snap to the grid, just something with any sample that I had that I can play around with and bring into the mix. So just a very basic loop, it's not even particularly chopped very well. But there we go. We've now got a pattern that is ready to bring into our DJ mix. So if we come out of pattern select, let's go back into DJ mode. And the project is still set up as we had it in the previous episode, still got the same tracks. Now, nothing has changed here. We still have our mixer view, our faders, everything as it was. If we want to add this pattern into this mix now, essentially like a third track, we can do pattern select, select the pattern that we want, hit pattern select again, and it gives us a new channel strip here. And you'll notice we have exactly the same buttons. The only difference being that because it is in sync mode currently, if I take this off, you will then see our ability to shift up and down with the pitch. It's ever so slightly different when you're in this mode, but pretty much the same. So I'm going to put it back into sync mode for a second. We can still bend it a little if we want to try and make sure that it's going to fit to our track, because you still have to get your timing right here. Just because it's a pattern doesn't mean it will automatically play in time. I can cue it back to the beginning of the pattern, and of course I can set the pattern off to play using the same kind of grayed out button in the bottom corner there. We have a volume fader, so I want to set that to 0 for a second because we're just going to kind of bring this pattern in slowly, see if we can get it to mix. But first what I'm going to do, let's come out of this mode, and if you want to come out of the mode, you press pattern edit. We'll go back to our standard DJ mode here. I just want to start a track, something that we can kind of play to. Now, for some reason, I must have knocked the sync button off. I'm going to press sync here so that all of our tracks are at 120 BPM. Just make sure everything is like synced up and it looks okay. Let's start with the track on channel 2. And now that that's playing at 120 BPM, we can use pattern select, do exactly the same. Choose the pattern, press pattern select. Make sure that this is synced to 120 BPM, and just like I did in the other episodes, you're going to have to try and get your timing right, count this in, get it roughly in place, and hopefully we can get it mixed in, and yeah, we'll mix out from it. Okay, so I've kicked that off. I'm hoping that the timing's quite close. I'm just going to bring the mix in slowly, see how it is. Doesn't sound too bad. So we've now brought in our pattern mix. We can do pattern edit to come out of this mode, and then we can use our volume fader here and slowly fade out our original track. And we've made our transfer and mixed from a pattern into a track. So let's stop the music for a second. Actually, it's because it's playing on the pattern. Let's do shift and exit for a second. So that is how we mix in a pattern into our set, essentially giving us another track, some more options there. And it's a great way, I think, of adding more interest. It's a bit like the cue points. There's plenty of scope there for playing around, creating your own patterns, and then actually playing with them as records without having to sample them all down into like an audio track. You can actually just play a whole pattern there inside of your DJ set. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Take care.